Hello and welcome back to Shopping for the Real You. I am Andrea Flommer, the author of the Amazon bestseller Shopping for the Real You. So today I have a wonderful treat. I am so delighted to welcome my guest, Jennifer Robin. First, before I give you her bio, let me tell you how I first learned about Jennifer. Many years ago, I was sitting in my mentor's office, John Kitchener, and he had a bunch of books on the wall. And of course, because I'm obsessed about color and style, I was scanning each one to see if I had them. And one of them was Jennifer's book, one of her books. And so I immediately bought it, and it was completely delightful, as is she. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Jennifer is the author of the award-winning book, Growing More Beautiful, An Artful Approach to Personal Style, which is the book that I bought. And then it's called, her earlier book was called Clothe Your Spirit, Dressing for Self-Expression. And that started her 35-year career as a consultant, makeup artist, and fashion stylist. She's the owner of Clothe Your Spirit Image Consulting Services and the creator of J. Robin Cosmetics, which is why I invited her here today. So you're in for a treat. The line includes individually custom blended lipsticks and foundations. Now, many years ago, when John Kitchener used to live in the Bay Area, he used to do custom color and foundations, and it was wonderful, but he doesn't do that anymore. And there are very few people in this country who are doing this. So this is why I was delighted to hear about Robin. Now, but more than all this, because John is really a stickler about working with people or recommending people who have had an art background. And this is why I was delighted to see what Jennifer is doing, because in addition to all of her other work, Jennifer is a fabulous artist, and she's had many shows in the San Francisco Bay Area. She's recognized in her area for the innovative use of color and design. She combines her consultant's expertise with her artist's understanding that an authentic inner life is a deep, rich source of beauty, which is, that's the basis of it, right, Jennifer?
Correct. And I never heard that John Kirchner story. That's great. I'm nice. I had no idea he had my book in his.
I know that you used to do these personalized colors working with different manufacturers, but I believe that during the pandemic and the lockdowns, you couldn't get the suppliers to give you the materials that you needed for your custom colors and lipsticks. So you're doing that on your own now.
No, that's actually not what happened. I started doing the custom blends. I'd always done custom blend foundation, but the foundation had many innovations and in terms of developing really excellent mineral foundation. So I switched companies to the mineral foundation and found that they had created a way that small businesses like mine could actually make their own lipsticks. So I started doing that about 10 years ago. And when the pandemic hit and everyone started wearing masks, then of course all the supply chain got, befouled. And so it was a few years of no one wearing lipstick, but it's back online now. I'm able to get what I need and making new products.
Right, terrific. So when you work with a client, in other words, do people come to see you or do you also work online?
Well, up until recently, I was doing it. People could just go onto the makeup and order it online. But now I really do it in a form of a consultation because I want to make sure that it's more individualized. It's not really a line. You can just pick a color and order. That is a little bit of the kind of lasting impact of the supply chain. I want to have my hands on each and every piece I make and make sure it's suited. So you can send me a photo of your palette of your best reds, which is what I need to work with, and I can recommend a lipstick from that I think you'll really like. But in addition to color, I want to know a little bit about what kind of texture you favor. Do you want something that lasts a really long time? Or do you want something really hydrating? What's the rest of your makeup going to be like? Kind of what's the rest of your style? So as we know, it's not just a lipstick color.
Somebody shows you their palette and you immediately go for their reds. And is that always going to be pretty consistent that the the undertone of the red is going to set the tone, the palette for the colors that you pick for them.
Absolutely, yes. You know, that's one of the beauties of having your colors done, of having a professional select your best family of reds and get that, you know, extremely specific and exacting, because that is going to allow your blush color, your lip color, all the reds that you wear really enhance your beauty in a way that nothing else does. So it's what's fun about the lip colors is there's also a range. You know, like we know within our reds, there are the things that we wear in the summer, the more, for example, the more cherry shades. Now it's winter, I'm wearing more of a burgundy plum, going for that color with my lip color. So we get to have fun. It's not just one shade. It's a family.
The companies that you work with that create these, I've always been curious how they make a lipstick. I mean, what do they, the ingredients I think are important, and I'm really, concerned about that they be healthful and not
Sure.
toxic. Do you look into any of that part of
Of
the
course.
whole
Let me give
development?
you a little example of how it works. So for every lipstick, this is the wax base. I have a number of different kinds of bases. Some are more hydrating, some are, like I said, more long lasting. I have several different glosses, but the thing is here, they're individually sealed. They're not going to be exposed to air until I open this and begin to make the lipstick out of it. So one of the concerns that we have with products is they're sitting on the shelf. And the chemicals that they need to preserve those cause them to include some of the things you're concerned about. But if they don't have preservatives and they're sitting, then that's even worse. So these are made one at a time, and I make them as I need them. I don't make a big batch and let them sit. So the way it works is here's the base, and behind me are all the colors, the pigments. So we have both. This is just one pigment. I'll probably use 7 or 8 pigments to get the color I exactly want. This is the difference between me and most of the people that actually do this is I will do it, measure it a drop at a time, mix it, measure it. And then I have all these wonderful frosts that don't necessarily make it shiny, but just see how this is sort of a sharp color. This adds that richness like we see in the blouse that you're wearing. It makes that really yummy, delicious, subtle color. So I keep a very careful formula, mix the pigment and the frost with a couple of additives depending on what the person needs, extra moisture. And then I mix it together with this, and then it's heated and goes into a mold. And this is the beauty of this company where I'm able to get my materials from, is I'm able to make a small number at a time. So this mold actually, this is heated, and this mold molds the lip shape. And then it goes into a tube and looks like a regular, beautiful lipstick.
Oh.
So I know. So it's, of course, so much fun for me. I also have the lip glosses. It's a similar process. It's just not molded. It's poured into a tube. So it takes a lot of color expertise, obviously, to be able to do this. And of course, it's like the most fun I've ever had, because I can make whatever I want. And many people that wear lipstick get very frustrated because shades that they've loved over the years have disappeared, and you can no longer get that, partly because the industry wants to make something new and bright, whether it's a bright color or a nude. So that was part of the motivation too, is that I was always losing colors that I really liked. And from our work, you have to have the right lip color. It's like it's the final piece to the whole picture.
I think that's such an important point, because I think all of us have had the experience that over the years we find a color that we love and then it's not available the next year. The whole thing about fashion that I love and hate is
Right,
that
trends.
it's based on insecurity. So if you're not up with the latest thing, you're out. And as you and I both know, once you know your personal style and your colors, you're never going to be out. You're going to always dress authentically, and you're going to, and now you can have the makeup that works authentically for you. I think this is wonderful. So you're not only an artist and a stylist, but you're also a but you have to be something of a chemist in this whole thing too.
Right. You know, my father was a physicist, and because I really have an artistic
Oh.
bent, I didn't really realize that I could do this. But there's a lot of math involved, a lot of chemistry in making these lipsticks. They have ratios as to how much of any given pigment or frost you can add based on the base. And when I first heard about it, I was very daunted. And then it turns out it's fine. It's, you know, it's arithmetic. It's not complicated math, but you have to be able to keep track of that. So, you know, not everyone can succeed at this. And I have to say, it's really a labor of love. It's not highly profitable because, as you can imagine, each lipstick takes me close to an hour to make, right? And I just sell them at a regular lipstick price. And the pandemic really did change not only the amount of lipsticks that people needed, but we came out of it, I think, used to seeing ourselves without lipstick. So many women, you know, midlife women want a softer look. They're not interested in the whole bright pow of lipstick. Some of the younger women and some long-term red wearers, of course, are wearing their lipstick. But I do notice that what I'm making and selling is much more subtle than it was. That may hopefully change. You know, I like some lipstick, but I think that it's natural to evolve. You know, you stay within your family of reds, but what you crave is a little bit different for many now. You know, after all those years of not wearing any makeup at all, a softer look just feels better, but no lipstick, I don't think is a good choice.
That's a wonderful point. I'm going to do a video soon about applying lipstick, but do you have any tips for how it could be more long lasting? Because I know that's the question that I get asked the most. How do I make that lipstick last long on my lips?
Well, you know, my lips have always been very dry, and I sort of consider myself the canary in the coal mine. You know, if I can't wear my product, then what's the point of even selling it? So I've really experimented a lot over the years. I find that these lipsticks now are the best I've ever used, but nothing is perfect. Lips, you know, that pigment, I don't know. It depends on the weather, the heating in your house. So what I do is I keep just a basic lip balm on my lips most of the time when I'm not out and about. So I'm not wearing lipstick, you know, all the time. And then I have a lip pencil, and the lip pencils, I don't make these, but they come from the same company, and they don't seem to be drying. So I always fill my mouth in with lip pencil, not just liner. I fill it all the way in, put my lipstick on, and I'm good to go. I mean, it will stay on, you know, quite some time. I might just top it off the next layer with a little bit of a more emollient one, just because it just needs actually more moisture sometimes and not color. So you have to experiment and find what the best combination of product works for you. If something seems drying, try another company. But the lip pencil, the lip liner is crucial. Also, you get to a certain point where you need that line definition so that there's no bleeding. And a lot of women are concerned about that, lines around their mouth. And so if that's the case for you, you're not going to really be wearing too much gloss, but the pencil sort of acts like a little dam. It does keep your lipstick from sliding away from your lips. Yeah, I don't care for how I look in lipstick anymore without lip pencil, not just for the lasting ability, but it doesn't stay. It's like it kind of starts to migrate, you know, here and there. So I'm always going for pencil. And pencil can also be somewhat of a nude color. It doesn't have to be a strong red or burgundy. I like that, but I saw one of my popular lip pencil colors is called Twig, and it's a very soft kind of pinky beige, you know, nude, and that will keep some color on your lips. I find the long lasting lipsticks, the ones that really seal, are way too drying. So you get a
Yeah,
lipstick on your glass, you
yeah,
know.
I think that's absolutely true. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
nobody
you know,
likes that.
hydration is a big part of it. Speaking of which,
Right. Cheers. I've always been that way. But my lips are dry. It's partly how they're formed. It's just sometimes it's the shape, the way that
yeah,
your breath actually comes over the top of your mouth, like my lower lip gets drier than my upper lip, you know, so I do always, you know, as soon as I wash my face, I put my lip balm on, like, you know, I have it beside my bed. I keep my lips hydrated all the time, and my
Right.
lipsticks. I have a classic base and I have a butter base, and the classic lipstick is more heavily pigmented and lasts longer, but I do find I wear the butter base more just because it has a little bit less pigment and a little more hydration. So that's a question that I always ask.
That's great. So the question is, how do people get in touch with you, Jennifer?
Growingmorebeautiful.com. Go ahead and you can see many of the colors of the lipsticks on the shopping page and see what appeals to you. Uh, I don't just sell them, you know, you can't just pick one and order one anymore. You do need to contact me. Some of that has to do with making sure that I have every single ingredient in stock. There are still some supply chain issues. I want to make sure that it's going to be a color you're going to be really happy with. But it's worked well. People seem to have some understanding of what they want, and we all know that this sort of online shopping craziness isn't really good for our souls. And you know, sure, you want to be anonymous and just pick something and have it come and try it and return it. But I'm bringing back a bit of the custom care. Let's talk about it. Let's meet your needs. If you've never had your colors done or never had your reds done, then that's a little bit of a different situation.
So it's growingmorebeautiful.com.
Just
That's
Growing
it.
More Beautiful.
That's the book, right?
That Andrea found at
Wonderful. Well, Jennifer, Robin, thank you so very much. This has been informative, interesting, and delightful. And I hope people do contact you because I think you're doing a very great service for a lot of people.
it
So,
really is a service, you know, that's pretty much what it is now. It's not a makeup manufacturing company.
all right, great. Well, thank you again so much. And thank you for joining us again on Shopping for the Real You. Bye bye.